teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Oh, big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of signs, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar signs. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of signs. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Down in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
What's up, Christopher?
What's up?
Oh, nothing. Just trying to do a show today. How about you?
Not much, same thing.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. We hope you're doing all right. CJ and DJ in the driver's seat today, and a lot to talk about from the national standpoint. I heard this on the radio last night about these Super Bowl prop bets, and it had me intrigued because I would be the regular folk, the you and I of the world, the sports fans who aren't necessarily Bengals fans. We're not necessarily Ram fans, but call me crazy. I like to have a little action going during the Super Bowl, make it a little extra interesting. So we're going to do Super Bowl prop bets today, and we're going to discuss all of them straight down the line. We're going to give you the tail of the tape on both teams. So if you want to make an educated decision on if you're betting or not, of course, you'll have to go over the state lines here in Ohio over to Pennsylvania, where CJ, you're living the dream over there. Like, you can just pull up your phone and make a bet right now.
I could. And some of my friends I went to college with at Youngstown, they'll make the drive over to Pennsylvania just for a bet or two. But yeah, it's surprising though when you think about it that Ohio hasn't. I guess they have, but it hasn't gone into effect yet, right?
There's this about it. It's constant talk about it, and it's frustrating because every state that borders Ohio has sports betting, and they're making buku dollars off of it. And here we are just, lying in the waste here. And I don't know, taxing gas. That's what we do. Tax gas. So before we get started on this day in sports history, I thought this one was a little interesting because today, on this day, February 8th in 1936, the NFL draft, first ever NFL draft, was conducted, and Jay Berwanger from the University of Chicago was the first ever pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that said, CJ, the draft is, 2 months away, 3 months away, something like that, 2 months away. Are Are you a guy that watches the draft? And was there ever a draft that you watched that you will always remember? And what was it?
So I watch the draft until the Steelers pick, and then I kind of just tune it out. And it's the same way for
after.
Both, basically. I really don't care until the Steelers pick, and I do the same thing for baseball. I don't care until the Pirates pick, but so the one that that I thought was cool was whenever James Conner got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the just the excitement that was on the podium, and it was such a cool moment for Pitt fans and for really just the city. And I doubt it happens again this year with Kenny Pickett, but I think that would be very cool to have that come around as well.
The word on the street is the Steelers are high on Pickett, but
I mean, they should be.
there's 8 teams, according to insiders, that need to get quarterbacks before the Steelers pick at 20.
Yeah.
So
I saw, who was it? Mel Kiper came out with his mock draft last week or something, and he had him going to the Saints, which is, I think they're 2 picks ahead of Pittsburgh. So.
Probably not a bad spot for him.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be honest here, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion among anybody that actually likes or dislikes the Steelers, is I would be okay with not being super great this year, rolling the dice on Mason and Haskins and seeing which one comes out of that fray. If somehow Haskins or Rudolph come out and we end up a winning football team, okay, nothing lost. But the thought of the quarterback from Alabama, the quarterback from Ohio State, Stroud, way higher ceiling than anybody coming out of college football this year. And I don't think you want to rush to another quarterback right now and have him under the Baker Mayfield effect, essentially, for lack of a better term, is have a guy that you think you believe in, but not really sure, but you don't want to give up on him too soon, and somebody else gets him for a Super Bowl run. I don't know, man. I think it's really cool that the first ever draft was on February 8th in 1936, and funny enough, it was the Eagles. But my most memorable draft was the Roethlisberger draft, because there was so much drama in that draft that was happening, and there wasn't the behind the scenes like there is now. Now we know everything that transpired. But to that point, we thought that Phillip Rivers was going to be the quarterback for the Giants. Eli Manning was going to maybe just hold out until his rookie contract expired. And Ben Roethlisberger, by the grace of God, was anointed a Pittsburgh Steeler. So it was. Thank you, Kellen Winslow, by the way. Appreciate that. And the Cleveland Browns. But really cool to think about it, just the way the draft has changed. And I have to say this, the NFL draft has it right. They have it right because there is so much parity in the National Football League, and the draft is what does that. And sometimes you have a good draft, sometimes you have a bad draft, sometimes you just draft. And that's what I think the Steelers have done very well, is realizing there's upside and downside every player you draft and trying to minimize those downsides as much as humanly possible. So is there something blinking behind me? I feel like there's something blinking behind me. See right over my shoulder, my right shoulder, it keeps going lighting up.
No, I can't see it.
Weird. All right. Again, on today's show, we're going to give you the Super Bowl prop bets. But before we can give you that, we want to educate you on some of this stuff. So we pulled the tail of the tape up off the old internet ski. And where's that? Come on. There she is. All right. So it's going to be a little tough to read unless you go full screen. So I'm going to go full screen and I'll read it for you. So against the spread, the Rams are 10-10 and the Bengals are 13-7. So what that tells you is the Bengals are better when they are against it. They are up against the spread record. The Bengals are the team. Again, right now, they're -4 to -4.5, depending on where you go. So, or +4 to +4.5, wherever you go. So, advantage Bengals on that. So the favorite versus being a dog. Well, as a favorite, the Rams are 7-10. The Bengals are 8-3 as a dog. So, CJ, what's that tell you?
It basically, that tells me go Bengals. I mean, just because they seem to win whenever they're the underdog. The more interesting one is how the Rams underperform when they're the favorite. I mean, 7-10 is not a good record if you're a favorite.
So the total over-under record, the Rams 10-9-1, and then you have the Bengals at 8-12. So we actually advantage Rams on this one. So if you're playing the over-under instead of just essentially, who's going to win by how many, the Rams are your team to play. The record versus playoff teams, 2-5 versus 4-2, and that favors the Bengals. Points per game, it's dead even at 27.1. So basically, you'd think 40 or 54, 55 points should be the over-under, on this game based on those. So we'll see. See how it tallies up here in a few minutes. Points allowed per game, the Rams have the advantage 18.3, 19.7 for the Bengals. So Rams giving up less points, but that's because their defense is supposed to be outstanding. But if you look at it, just a point, maybe a little bit over, are the Bengals. And I couldn't name 3 guys on their defense right now. Could not do it if I had to win $1 million. Yards total per game, 386 to 385. I mean, these teams are like that Spider-Man meme, just looking at each other in the mirror. Passing yards per game, 287 to 282. I still think Burrow holds the advantage in this game. I'll explain why here in a little bit. 99 rushing yards per game for the Rams, 102 for the Bengals. Defense rank 17th and 18th. This is ridiculous. Total yards allowed per game, 344 for the Rams, and 350 for the Bengals. Passing yards allowed per game, 232 to 268. I think that's the biggest discrepancy we've seen so far, is that number right there.
Yeah.
Sacks per game, 2.77 for the Rams, 2 1/3 for the Bengals. Sacks allowed per game, 1.72 to 306. Now, that can be misleading because I think there was a game that the Bengals gave up 9 sacks in a game and still ended up winning. So keep that in mind. Obviously, the numbers are going to be the numbers. You can slice them up and dice them up however you want. Offense, I don't even know what is DVOA.
I have no idea.
No clue what that is. So we're going to skip right the hell over that one. Touchdowns by wide receivers. Rams have 32, 25 for the Bengals. But keep in mind that the Rams have been all over the Cooper Kupp connection with Matthew Stafford this year. That has been a lethal combination and one of the reasons they're in the big game. Touchdowns allowed 2 wide receivers, 10 by the Rams and 15 by the Bengals, which means that Jalen Ramsey and the corners for Los Angeles do a little better job covering their receivers than the Bengals typically do. Touchdowns by running backs, Bengals hold that at 20-13. Joe Mixon's had a remarkable year for the Bengals. And naturally, I think it's just a matter of the Rams have scored from way out this year, as opposed to the Bengals and the AFC North. They've had to really get closer to the goal line a lot of times and play that AFC North type football. And that's why they punched it in 20 times this year on the running game. Touchdowns allowed 2 tight ends. And that's a big number 4 for Los Angeles and 8 for the Bengals. But keep in mind that again, in the AFC North, you're dealing with some pretty decent tight ends in that division. Not to say that, trying to think of his name, Kittle isn't good himself, but at the same time, most of these guys are opting for the wide receivers specifically. So Cooper Kupp has the most touchdowns at 16. That accounts for half of the touchdowns by wide receivers. for the Rams, and Joe Mixon has the most touchdowns for the Bengals at 16, being the running back, which accounts for, almost all of the touchdowns for the running backs with 16 out of 20. Average margin of victory was 12 for the Rams and 14 for the Bengals. Average margin of defeat in their losses is 12 for the Rams and 8 for the Bengals. So interestingly enough, the Bengals hold the best margin for wins and losses in this game. And a Super Bowl record, which I don't think counts necessarily anymore. 1-3 for the Rams and 0-2 for the Bengals. All right, so I'm going to take this out of full screen. Where is she? All right, there's – okay, so with that said, CJ, it is time to go over these Super Bowl prop bets. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Passing yards. Who is going to have more? Is it going to be the Rams or the Bengals? And the over, in case you were wondering, for Matthew Stafford is 279, and Joe Burrow is at 273. So just by account of it, they're going to say Matthew Stafford is expected to have more passing yards. Do you agree with that?
I would, because I don't know how you go against him and Cooper Kupp. I think the two of them have really just carried the Rams offense this year, unless the Bengals come out with some miraculous defensive play that nobody's been able to do all year. I mean, I don't know how you bet against the Rams in that stance.
Now, we know that in the Super Bowl, a lot of teams try to get cute, right? We've seen how many flea flickers, how many halfback pass, option nugget, on 3-on-3 ready break. We see that a ton in the Super Bowl. So I don't know if it's on here, but would you, if it was on here as a prop bet, would you expect somebody other than a quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in this game?
No, I wouldn't. If it happens, it'll be someone on the Bengals.
Really?
I think Sean McVay has learned a lot from his first. Yeah, I think he's learned a lot from his first Super Bowl, and not to get too cute with it. And I think he's just a more veteran coach in that sense. So I would be very surprised if anybody but Matthew Stafford was throwing a ball.
So you're taking Matthew Stafford at the most passing yards. I'm going to take Joe Burrow. I think they have the bigger splash opportunity with Jamar Chase. He's known for that. I don't know the status of their tight end. They got injured in the AFC Championship game, so that kind of worries me. But Joe Burrow is their offense. Joe Burrow is the entire show. I think Cam Akers could have an impact on this game for Los Angeles. But, again, you're right. It comes back to Cooper Kupp. Can Cooper Kupp break free, get open, and be that guy that should, at least in my opinion, be the offensive MVP of the National Football League? All right, rushing yards. Cam Akers with 63.5. Joe Mixon with 60.5. Sony Michel with 20.5. Joe Burrow gets a 10.5 point shot, and 5.5 for Stafford. Out of all those guys, who are you taking with the most rushing yards?
I would take Cincinnati. I like their running core a bit better than the Rams. I think they have more options. Absolutely.
I like Los Angeles in this. I like Cam Akers. He has come on, and he has come on strong after being injured for, I think it was the majority of the season, because Sony Michel was doing a lot of the carrying, and they had running back by committee for a while there. Cooper Kupp's also on here for a half a yard, so maybe a reverse or something for him. All right, next one, receiving yards. Who has the most? Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, OBJ, Tyler Boyd, or Van Jefferson?
Cooper Kupp.
You're taking Kupp.
Because the only reason why is nobody's been able to stop him all year. And it's hard for me to imagine. And Cincinnati's defense is good. Their secondary is okay, right? But it's hard for me to imagine they're going to come up with some scheme that's any better than what, San Francisco put together, or I'm trying to think who they played in the earlier rounds. The Rams, I can't remember, but it's hard for me to imagine that Cincinnati comes up with the right plan.
Interesting. So just by process of elimination, I'm going to say that you're taking the Rams.
Yeah.
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 Touchdown.
And it's nothing against Cincy, right? I listen, I really love underdog stories, right? And I appreciate what Cincinnati's been able to do. And I love Joe Burrow. I think he's going to be awesome for the next decade. That the AFC quarterback picture right now is incredible for the next decade, right? But I think, this is Sean McVay's second Super Bowl. He's learned a ton since that disaster he had a couple years ago. And I think it's going to be a little bit better picture for the Rams.
I'm not going to give mine yet. Partly because I don't know. I'm still on the fence. All right. First play of the game. The odds are a rush attempt is minus 144. A pass attempt is plus 118, which tells you that most people think it's going to be a rush attempt. So, CJ, first play of the game, what do you think it's going to be?
I would lean towards a rush attempt. I think a lot of times early in the game, you want to establish a run game, and unless maybe really it'll depend on who gets the ball first, right? If LA gets it first, I think they're going to try and just throw the ball, but I think Cincinnati might be a little more timid in that sense. You don't want to throw a bad pass early in a game, right, and get a pick or something stupid like that.
See, I like the run because it gets everybody kind of acclimated to the game. That it gets first hit of the lineman, and it gets the first playoff for the quarterbacks, running back, especially if they're getting the football, it gets them their first pad clack of the day. But all that being said, I'm going to go with a pass here. And the only reason is because I think this is going to be two offenses primarily conducted by quarterbacks. And whoever gets that lead, I mean, this is a one and done situation. This is a winner, winner takes it, loser goes home. You don't get a second run at this. So I'm going to go with the Bengals get the football first, and they go play action to start the game, and it's an incomplete pass. So there you go. Put your money on that. That's a guarantee. Oh, by the way, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh,
yeah. We got to throw that in. We don't want to. And listen, we're just two guys that love sports. Don't seriously take our advice, please, because I like my thumbs and my knees. So please don't. Like, I'm not even taking my own advice on this stuff. I might put $1 down on all of these bets just to see what comes of it. But I like my thumbs where they are. So thank you very much.
Well, what I tend to do is, this is just me, I always bet the underdog just because that's what I always do. So so
you're betting the Bengals?
I will bet the Bengals, but I don't think they'll win.
Team to score a touchdown on their opening drive. Yes, no, both yes, both no. So here is the odds. Yes is plus 114. No, minus 138. Both yes is plus 100. And both no is minus 1,800.
Wow. I was going to say both no.
But you're losing money at that point.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would go with that anymore. But I think realistically, though, I don't think either team will score on their opening drive.
Okay. So you put a bet for both no.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a touchdown. I would say no. A field goal, I would say yes. So I'm going to have to go both no with you. First turnover of the game. interception at -160, a fumble at +160, a turnover downs or no turnover at all during the entirety of the game, +700. Wow.
It's a lot of faith in those offenses, right? Yeah. That's there'll be a turnover. I think there'll be an interception.
I'm going to go with the fumble.
Because both quarterbacks like to throw the ball, and I think one of them is going to make a little slip up, or something silly is going to happen, maybe towards the end of the game.
I think it's going to be a sack fumble, and it's going to be Von Miller on the edge that gets it and knocks it out of Burrow's hand. That's my guess. So that would be a +160 for me, a -160 for you. Just keep that in mind as we keep rolling on. Either team to score in the last 2 minutes of the first half. So the odds are yes at -350 and no at +275. The final
so
2
score,
minutes
we
of
mean
the first half before halftime.
We mean score a touchdown or just?
It's just a score.
Points?
It could be a safety, a field goal.
Because I think a lot of times you see kind of a rushed offense towards the end of a quarter. You want to get as many points as you can towards the end, unless you're Andy Reid. But I do think there'll be maybe just a punt, a field goal.
I think the field goal, I think they're going to rush it into a field goal, but they miss it.
Oh, wow.
My Super Bowl in my head is super dramatic, by the way. It is like sack fumbles, missed field goals, onside kicks.
In that situation, though, you want to talk about the most hated person in whatever city. You miss a field goal, or
I'd love the bastard.
Miss a kick.
I'd love him at +275. He'd be my favorite player. I might get a jersey with as much money as I'd win from that. All right, here's that question I asked. How many players will attempt a pass during the game? Is it under 2.5 or over 2.5? That's an interesting way to put it. How do you get a half player?
They always do those halves, right? How do you hit a half home run?
I don't understand how you like. If I was out there, I guess you could put as a half player, but like, what's considered a half player? I'm gonna go over 2.5 players. I'm going to go OBJ throws a football at some point during this football game.
Wow.
That's +150.
That would be
under 2.5 is -190.
Yeah, that'd be very surprising. I think, and it does happen sometimes, right? You'll try to be a little bit cute with it, and so thinking right now, I probably would also go over.
Oh. But you're saying running back.
I think I also would, but yeah.
See, OBJ, here's why. OBJ has thrown the ball with New York. He's thrown the ball with Cleveland. I think he's already thrown the ball with the Rams to this point. I think they're going to pull one of these plays. I really do. And I think it's going to be OBJ tossing it. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. Will there be a touchdown made in the fourth quarter? Jeez, oh man. Yes at -700, no at +450. I'm going to go yes, but I would never put that bet down.
Yeah, I would go yes too. I mean, it'd be kind of anticlimactic if you don't have a touchdown in the fourth quarter. So I would go yes, but.
All right, so opening kickoff, return for a touchdown. You ready for this one? Yes at +8,000. No at -20,000. I might put $10 on this just because.
I mean, yeah, why not, right? It's just $10.
Oh my gosh. You imagine if you hit that?
Oh, you make a ton of money. Absolutely.
Oh man, that'd be nice.
Realistically though, there ain't no shot there's going to be a punt return for a touchdown.
A kick return to open the game?
Hell no. Hell no.
Will there be a 2-point conversion attempt in the game? Yes, plus 160. No, minus 198. Successful, plus 400. Not successful, minus 600.
I'd say yeah, because I think we're seeing it more often now. Is we're seeing more 2-point attempts, right? I would also go yeah. They'll make it because there's more successful ones than we've seen in recent years too. Maybe this is just me being a Steelers fan and I saw it like twice a game.
That's all we do. We got one of the best kickers in the league. We still go for 2. My wife says go for it. she's watching the show. She's like, go for it. 8,000. Go knock yourself out. Okay. But if you're going to do this, you got to pick successful, right? At plus 400.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Like, if you're going to pick yes, I'm going successful. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely. If you're going, you're right. Yes, you do probably would have to go.
Unless you believe that they're going to go for it and not get it.
And just screw it up.
Yeah. But then why are you betting? Like
right. Yep.
Nothing to win on that. All right. Here's how many quarters will be scoreless out of the 4 quarters? Or I'm sorry. Will any quarter be scoreless? Yes, plus 380. No, minus 600.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to go yes. I'm going to go the second quarter is going to be scoreless.
Oh, wow.
And sign me up for that other one about the 2 minutes before halftime too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? No. Third quarter is going to be scoreless because of the extended halftime. That's what it's going to be. Will there be a fumble lost? And your odds are minus 104 for during the first half, yes. Minus 118 for during the first half, no. During the second half, yes, is plus 108. During the second half, no, is minus 132.
That's an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe. I'd go with the fumble. Yeah, you already said yeah. I think there'll be one.
Okay. The only one that you actually get some juice on is during the second half. So there.
Yeah, well, that's when it comes down to like more important plays, right? So
yeah.
The second half, I would be stunned if a quarterback let a fumble happen. But
yeah,
in the first half, you're just kind of getting into the game. Man, that second half would be huge if either team fumbled like that.
Will there be a safety during the game? Here's your odds. Yes, at plus 900. No, at minus 1,500.
I mean, that's another one you just put $10 on for, just for why not. But no, there's not going to be a safety.
Last play of the game to be a quarterback kneel. Victory formation. Yes, at minus 130. No, at plus 106.
I'm
going to go no.
Yeah, now this one's a tricky one, right? Because now we got to kind of predict who's going to have the ball last.
Well, not only that, but are they actually going to kneel?
Are they going to be up, right? Yeah. This is a tough one. I'm going to go no because I think Cincinnati will have the ball last, and they're going to try and walk it off and be unsuccessful. I think it's going to be a close game.
I thought you were betting Cincinnati.
I'm putting a little money in there, not a ton. I'm not silly.
Will the game be tied again after 0-0? Yes, at minus 120. No, at plus 100.
Say that again. Will the game be tied what?
After 0. Will it ever be tied again after the beginning of the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I would go yeah.
Okay, so you're betting on a minus 120. That's not.
I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a close game.
Largest lead of the game: over 14.5 at plus 100, or under 14.5 at minus 130.
I would go over 14 because Cincinnati has proven that they're kind of a second half, come from behind team. But I think LA will probably take a good lead and Cincinnati will find themselves back in it.
I'm going to go under here at 14.5. I think that no lead's going to get bigger than 10 the entire game. So touchdown and a field goal. If it does, it's over. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's Los Angeles that's trailing. I think if they get behind by 10, it's done. Will there be overtime? Yes, at plus 950. No, at minus 2,000. And they really don't want overtime, huh?
Yeah, I would say no. But is it NBC doing the game?
They are.
Is it Chris Collinsworth going to be praying for overtime, right? We're going to have to hear that the whole game, right?
He doesn't get paid by the hour.
But I would say realistically, no.
My wife says under 14. So we're on the same page in that one. So that's probably a safe one to bet. What else we have here? Team to commit the first accepted penalty. The Bengals at minus 125 or the Rams at minus 105.
I don't know. You're really just shooting in the dark there. I'd go Bengals.
I'm going to go Rams. I don't know why. I think I don't. Because it's just a penalty. It's not like holding or offense or defense. It's just a penalty. So
right.
I think the Rams are more aggressive. If if the Bengals still had Vontez Miller or whatever his name was, Perfect. If they still had Perfect, I would say
that's a slam dunk right there.
Yeah, they'd be minus 8 billion. Race. I don't even know what this means. Race to points. We're gonna skip that one.
Yep.
Most first downs. Bengals or Rams. The Bengals are at plus 110. Rams are at minus 134.
I'd go Rams.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with you on this one. And I don't know.
That's another one, right?
Only because I think the Bengals are gonna score from way out. Like I think Burrow is gonna have like a 30, a 40, and like an 18-yard touchdown. So they're not doing as much driving as the Rams are going to do. But the Rams understand they need the football. You know what I mean? They need if they control the football, they control the game. So I'll go with you with the Rams for the most first downs. Total touchdowns. Cincinnati Bengals over 2.5 at minus 105. The Bengals at under 2.5 at minus 135. The Rams over 3.5 at plus 140, or the Rams under 3.5 at minus 180.
I would go over for Cincy, and I would go over for the Rams too.
Okay.
Because I think it'll be a little bit higher scoring, maybe.
Fair enough.
But the Cincy one over what, 2? I mean, they got a good offense. That's not putting a lot of faith in them.
Yeah, I don't know that minus under 2.5 is. I just don't think it's going to happen for the Bengals. They're going to score 3 touchdowns. I'm going to say Mixon, Chase, and no, I'm going to go Mixon scores on the ground, Chase scores through the air. Either T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd get one, and then a tight end, or Burrows runs in for one. I think that's how it's going to go. I know there's a lot left to decipher from that. And I think the Rams are just going to go through the air. They're just going to be the greatest show on turf, and they're going to show up at home and just absolutely go lights out. Total points. Bengals over 22.5 at minus 110. Bengals under 22.5 at minus 120. Rams over 26.5 at minus 120. and Rams under 26.5 at -110.
So over on both, because like I said, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game.
Like higher scoring as in
like
33 to 27?
Yeah, something like that.
I can respect that. Super Bowl MVP, Matthew Stafford, +105. Joe Burrow, +230. Wow, they're picking no quarterback in this one, huh? Cooper Kupp, +700. Jamar Chase, +2,000. Aaron Donald, +2,000. Odell Beckham Jr., +2,500. I'm interested why nobody's a real favorite in this one. There's no makers.
I think LA is going to win, so I think it'll be Stafford that gets the MVP. Cooper Kupp would be. It just depends on how many times they go to him, which I think will be a lot. But I think Stafford would probably get the MVP over Kupp.
Remember? Oh no, you probably weren't even born yet. What year were you born?
98.
Yeah, you weren't born yet. Super Bowl 30. Larry Brown gets the 2 interceptions off Neil O'Donnell, and he is Super Bowl MVP, and we never hear his damn name again. Like some scrub in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be another one of those. Dexter Jackson, I think for the Tampa Bay Bucks won it. I think it's going to be a scrub, and I'm going to go Von Miller. I can only imagine what he's listed at, or if he's even listed.
So that is kind of a shot in the dark. The only exception I'll say is Von Miller in a scrub. You know, he's legit.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, but he's been here before. He's been in this. He has a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and I think that's the advantage that you have. I really, if I had to pick, I would love seeing OBJ win Super Bowl MVP.
That'd be hilarious.
Just to see the meltdown on every Browns fan. Oh my gosh. It'd be beautiful. It'd be, I mean, but how do you, unless he like catches one and throws for one, how do you get to be the MVP and not the quarterback? So
right.
It's gonna be a challenge for a wide receiver to get it, because there's got to be somebody on the other end of that string tossing you the rock. So I'll be interested to see. Again, Von Miller is going to be my pick, just off the wall pick. But I think as an edge rusher, and Cincinnati's known to give up some sacks, he could be the guy. I think they're going to try to contain Donald. That opens up the floodgates for Von Miller if he wants it. So I'm going to go with him. All right, exotic props. You ready for these ones? Length of the national anthem in seconds.
Oh, these are always the best.
Over 95 at -147 or under 95 at +110.
Do you know who's singing the national anthem?
Mickey Guyton.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Country star.
Country. Okay. They
Slower.
tend to sing slower, right? I would go over.
All right. Over. I'm going to go over too. They sing slower. They speak better than I do. They sing slower than I do as well. So I'm gonna jump on that boat with you. Over 95 seconds. Coin toss. All right. Heads or tails? Heads somehow has the advantage at they're even at -104. Heads or tails?
I always go tails.
Tails never fails, man.
Nope.
All right. Halftime show props. Now, keep in mind, during the big game at SoFi Stadium, it's a star-studded lineup. Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop D-O-double-G, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Probably one of the most anticipated Super Bowl halftime shows in the history of our generation. People talk about Prince. They talk about Justin Timberlake. They talk like, okay, great. Happy for you. That's for your parents, and the other one's for your kids. For me, this one, like, something's going to happen. Number one, like something crazy is going to happen because Snoop, Eminem, Dr. Dre on the same stage, they don't care. They don't care at all. It only means better press for them. So, first performing artist shown live during halftime. Is it Multiple at plus 190, Snoop at plus 300, Dr. Dre at plus 350, Eminem at plus 400, Mary J. Blige at plus 550, or Kendrick Lamar at plus 550? I'm going Snoop. I'm going Snoop DeLoop. And he can bring
what I was going to say. I think he'll open it, and but that's going to be such a fun halftime show. I tend to kind of tune it out mostly, but I think this time I'll be glued onto it.
I think I'm tuning in for the halftime show this year. I really am. I'm really excited about this. Last year's was awful. The weekend was so bad.
It's cool for the kids, but yeah, that's not my music.
All right, so you're going Snoop first, or are you going Multiple? Yep. All right.
I'll go Snoop.
I'm going Snoop. All right, Gatorade bath. Super Bowl tradition unlike any other. The Gatorade bath, which tells you what color will the liquid poured on the team's winning coach be. Now, the popular answer over the last years has been orange. Orange getting a plus 200 look here. Blue is plus 300. Green, yellow, lime is plus 450. Water is plus 450. Red or pink is plus 800. And purple, indigo, or violet is the underdog at plus 1,000.
Yeah, this one's always interesting too. But blue's my favorite, so I'll just go blue.
I'm trying to think. You got blue versus orange. If you know anything about DJ Oakley, you know that I enjoy drinking whatever team I'm playing, I'm drinking that color. Because you're drinking the blood. So I'm gonna go orange with Los Angeles winning. I'm gonna go orange. Plus, I think orange is one of the most popular.
Interesting.
I love yellow.
Yeah,
I love yellow. Love it. But I just think orange is the most popular. I really do. Most people say blue when we ask them during their player profiles. But I'm going to go orange for some reason. I don't know why. Just makes sense to me. I really want to go water because I feel like McVay's already told his team, don't mess up my hair, don't mess up my perfectly cut shirts, with any kind of slime or anything like that. So I'm going to go, I'm on the fence between orange and clear now. I'm going to go orange just to make it fun. What will be higher? Cooper Kupp total receptions at the Super Bowl or the U.S. gold medal count at the 2022 Winter Olympic Games? Wow.
That's an interesting one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Catch up on some comments.
When I checked earlier, I don't think Snoop, right? It's going to be such a fun halftime show. It really is. Because that's the music I grew up on.
What the hell is going on here?
You got to help him. He's stuck in Vietnam.
Brother, help me. I've gotten stuck in Vietnam. Margie has now been taken to Zimbabwe. The fate lies in your hands now, brother. Hurry quickly as they're taking my phone.
That's a shame.
The dude's only got one. Like he's reaching out for an SOS, and he goes on the Ysn Power Hour. That is truly the power of the Power Hour right there. DJ Folkley, he doesn't call 911. He doesn't call the United States government. he goes straight to the Power Hour, straight to us. And it's unfortunate that he had his phone taken, because I'd love to hear the story of how he got to Vietnam in 24 hours. And it sounds like a Call of Duty situation there.
It might be.
Poor Margie.
It very well could be.
Poor Margie. I'm going to go with USA gold medals. I'll be honest. I've been, as much as I want to watch the Olympics, I haven't been. And it bothers me.
I've been watching some of it, and I'll tell you what, these Russians are no joke. And, you know, they got a 15-year-old ice skater, and she's like killing it. It's insane.
We got that Nathan, whatever his name is.
Chen, yeah.
Is it Nathan Chen? Mm-hmm. He was a stud.
Mm-hmm. So actually, yeah. It's just, how many gold medals do we think they're going to get? When I checked earlier, I don't think they had any yet. But
by Sunday,
we'll see by Sunday,
because it'll kick it up, because now they're going on like all the, I don't even know, the qualifiers or whatever it is. They're tuning it up, and I'm thinking the middle of the week, like tomorrow, they start really hammering down on the medals. Like it's go for gold.
Yeah, I think I'd also go the American gold count.
Jeff Collins says
safe?
everything.
Your brother's safe?
I guess.
Well, thank God Jeff Collins was on the case. He got there quickly.
Jeff,
to Vietnam.
Can you tell us anything about Margie and her status? That's all we want. We're worried about DJ, of course, but more worried about Margie. All right, so you taking Cup, or you taking the USA?
I'll go USA.
All right, I'm going to go USA too. That is it, I think. I think that's it.
Cool. We've lost all of our money.
Yeah. Prop bets taken care of. And we're right on time. And Josh says Cup receptions. Wow. Why is it that we're so bad in the Winter Olympics? Is it because we're so used to and accustomed to like warm weather? We're attracted to that?
Maybe that's part of it. I really think that like European countries, like this is what they're made for. You know, like they are built for skiing, for snowboarding, hockey. American hockey is pretty good. But then you're going up against Russia. Yeah, you're going up against Russia and Canada, which is basically where they founded the sport, right?
How does one, I thought about this on the ride home from my game last night. How does one start bobsledding? Like, have you ever seen a bobsled team like at a school?
Nope.
So how does that start? Maybe
they have it in Minnesota or something. I couldn't tell you.
I start northern, like the luge, and then you have like skiing. Like I've seen ski clubs, but I've never seen like competitive skiers. Yeah. And that thing that they do that like you're on the track. I think we talked about it yesterday. Maybe not. You're on the track and you're going down, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking over your skis and you're just flying.
Yeah.
What
is it called? The ski high jump or something? But
where do you sign up for that?
Mate,
like your science teacher in like fifth period, like, hey, we're having signups for the ski jump today. If you can get your parents to fill out this basically suicide form, like that's what you're doing. Like you're flying off of the edge of a cliff with your skis touching your nose, and you pray to God that you. Did you see the fall from the USA skier that she completely busted her leg in like two places?
Yep.
That didn't look that violent to me. So some of these you see look incredibly violent, scare the bejesus out of me. Because you imagine what
there was the one skier the other day, girl, I can't remember her name. I think she might have been American. But she real sharp turn right, ski fell off under her, like falling down 400 feet. down a mountain. It's like, first off, why would you do that? But it's like that is so wild to me. Just fall, just because you can't do nothing. Just let it happen.
Well, they always tell you to just go, right? Just don't try to stop it, dude. If I went down on the side of a mountain, I would be scraping my like whatever I can get. I'm trying to get, like, I'm hooking one of the ski poles into the side, like the construction fence, and I'm taking that bad boy with me. It's
when I went skiing last year, it was the first time I ever went. And God, I'm horrible at skiing, but I mean, every time I would fall, I would stab the ground, and the people running the place got mad at me because they were afraid I would break the stuff. But
all right, you ready for this narrative of the story? Margie's being held captive by Kirby Smart now and the Georgia Bulldogs. It's a bad day. They're using her as gator bait, which means she's being transferred to the Everglades. Help, please. The fate lies in your hands. Fate, not
what a
spelled
narrative.
correctly. And by the way, Folkley got blown up.
Oh, that's a shame.
With the crying emoji.
It's going to be really strange whenever he comments again.
He'll have another one. There will be another. It'll be DJ Folkley Jr. The downhill ski event is nuts.
Yes, it is.
Agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. All right. It is time. We survived this show with the prop bets. That's what you call resourceful in the business. And let's go to our Joe Dickey. While they power wash something next door. I don't know if you guys catch that on the microphone. Here we go. It is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over at DickeyElectric.com. Joe Dickey Electric, proudly powering the Mahoning Valley for over 60 years. All right, CJ, what do you got for us today?
So, very easy one for me today. Nothing crazy. Just anyone that knows me, I've said it before, I'm a big old nerd. I absolutely love Star Wars, and the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett is out tonight on Disney Plus, and I am so stoked for it. I'm probably just going to stay up and watch it. I think it comes out at like 3 a.m. I think I'm just going to stay up and watch.
You're going to stay up till 3 a.m. It's an hour long. So you're just running the candle at both ends. Either that, or I'm going to wake up early, and we'll see which one I do. So, how many chapters are there in that story? 7. So this is the 7th episode. And is it done? There's another show. It's part of a narrative, I think. Just a broader narrative. You kind of got to watch. I don't know if you've heard of it, The Mandalorian. Oh yeah. Yeah. You kind of got to watch that to understand sort of what's going on. You don't necessarily have to watch the movies, but I watched the first episode, and correct me if I'm wrong. It took place right after, or similar to right after the Star Wars, because he got spit out of that thing. He burned his way out. Yep. Spoiler alert, I guess. Yep. But oh boy, here we go. Ron Johnson approves this message. Thanks, Ron John. From Sal Volcano. Thanks, Sal. All right. For mine, interestingly, because it is the Olympics, I wanted to make a post about this on Facebook, but I couldn't find the right words for it. It's not emotional, I don't think. It is cool though, because there's a skier that was born in the United States. Trying to think for Eileen Wu or Eileen, I forget what her last name. She represents China because that's where her mother was born. She had to make a tough decision. She picked China. My wife and I discussed this. We both thought, okay, it's easier to get on the Chinese Olympic skiing team than it is probably the American team, which might or might not be the case, but that's my belief. She got gold. She went and got gold yesterday, and she did it with a routine that she didn't even practice. So, like, she didn't even try it out before she did it. Her mom said, keep it simple and just finish it out. And she said, this is an executive decision. I'm doing this. Did like a 1600 in the air, and which is unheard of, and won the gold medal for China. And why is she doing it for China? She's doing it to empower young athletes to, and especially female athletes, to come out and play sports and do things. That narrative completely changed my entire opinion of this young lady, because she is like the Tom Brady of China over there right now. They are loving her. And if you know anything about China, they're not exactly up to human rights or anything like that, and especially when it comes to women. So I thought this was a phenomenal story. I think that it was a story of courage, of grace, and of guts. And congratulations to her. And I hope that more people over in China decide to be athletes and continue to kind of break the mold that has been pushed on them so hard over there in China. So congratulations to her. Ron Johnson, the coach of Salem, is a great guy. Yes, he is. And I'm starting to wonder if I know who these burner accounts are now. I'm starting to wonder. And I've got an idea, and I'm going to make a text message after the show to see if I'm right. Our condolences to DJ Folkley, as it sounds like he's made his last comment on the show.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're sorry. Hopefully he can rest in peace, I guess, from that standpoint. I don't know. If you ever watch this show, you understand what we're going through right now. These burner accounts are taking on entire like narratives of their own, like the chapters in a book every day when we come on, which I love. It's an adventure every day right here from 3 to 4 on the Ysn Power Hour. You got anything to tie things up, Siege? You done?
Nothing from me.
All right, boys. You know what that means. Go Pirates. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4 right here on the network. Peace. Ysn thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.